Finland buys Spyder ADS, dual-use missiles, IIR and CCD seeker. Finland intends to improve its air defense capabilities, and has liked the Israeli Mobile Air Defense Systems, MADS or ADS, Spyder, which uses Python 5 and Derby missiles. The war between Russia and Ukraine, and the possible threat posed by a full-scale war in Europe and the world, is forcing Helsinki to think more seriously about its defense. BulgariaMilitary.com recalls that in mid-February Defense Minister Antti Kaikkonen recently approved procurement of Extended-Range Guided Multiple Launch Rocket System Alternative Warhead, GMLRS AW, and Extended-Range Guided Multiple Launch Rocket System Unitary, GMLRS UNITARY, rocket artillery effect. However, Finland is interested in an air defense system that uses the latest version of this missile, namely IIR. For a long time, Israel did not recognize the existence of this missile, until 2015, when the company Rafael officially confirmed this fact. This missile has an increased range and hits up to 100 kilometers. This is achieved through the integration of a two-pulse rocket engine with solid fuel. The IIR is the preferred missile for many fighters. In addition to Western, IIR can be integrated on Russian, Su-30 Mki India or Indian Tejas fighters. India has been trying for years to negotiate with Israel and buy from these missiles. Russian tanks swarm Kiev region as it promises to open safe corridors. Russian tanks continue to swarm the Kiev region as the threat on the Ukrainian capital appears bleak, but Russia has today promised to open safe corridors for those fleeing the city. Despite the Russian assault raging on, Ukrainian claims to have now wiped out 88 of Putin's aircraft, according to their armed forces, as the bloody conflict enters its 11th day. Ukraine claims to have blown up a whopping 285 tanks as they keep Putin's henchmen at bay while they try and capture major cities. And one extraordinary clip painting a picture of Putin's failures appears to show a Russian Su-25 fighter jet being destroyed as it soared over Kharkiv. Ukraine Army captures 3rd Panzer S1 system. The armed forces of Ukraine have captured the 3rd Russian self-propelled missile and anti-aircraft artillery system, Panzer S1. The relevant statement was made by Mykolaiv Regional Military Administration head Vitaly Kim on Telegram, and Ukrinform correspondent reports. Over 10 days since the war started, the 3rd Panzer system has been neutralized. Now we will destroy it, Kim said. According to the Center for Strategic Communications and Information Security, the export price of such system is up to $20 million. A reminder that, on February 24, 2022, Russian President Vladimir Putin initiated a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, starting a war. The Russian military are shelling and destroying the key infrastructure facilities, launching missile strikes on residential districts in Ukrainian cities and villages.
Машина связистов, це ми неподалеку знаходимося баштанки. Слава Україні, смерть ворогам, хай горять в пеклі. Чогось непонятно, блядь. Це, наверное, саме головне здобуток.
NATO allies send Ukraine 17,000 anti-tank missiles and NLAW in 6 days. Ukrainian leaders say the shipments, sent by US and other NATO allies, have made a difference against Russia's armored vehicles. The New York Times reports in just 6 days, the United States and other NATO allies have supplied Ukraine with more than 17,000 anti-tank weapons, the New York Times reported Sunday. The shipments include the medium-range, US-made Javelin, the Anglo-Swedish short-range NLAW, rocket-propelled grenades, and other anti-tank systems, according to the report. Similar ammunition was supplied to Ukraine before the war broke out, along with Bayraktar drones supplied by Turkey before and during the conflict. According to the New York Times, 70% of the $350 million military aid, approved by U.S. President Joe Biden on February 26, was delivered within 5 days in an attempt to get the weapons into Ukraine before Russian forces started attacking aid convoys. These arms shipments were largely shipped from Germany initially, and then were sent through Poland, Romania, and a few other neighboring countries before continuing over the Ukraine border to Kiev and other major cities. Ukrainian leaders informed U.S. officials that the weapons shipments were making a difference on the battlefield, according to the Times. The Russian ship that bombed Snake Island is destroyed. One of the Russian warships that bombed Ukraine's Snake Island on the first day of the war was destroyed by a rocket. Defense forces in the Black Sea port city of Odessa hit the warship Vasily Baiko with a rocket. It was one of 2 warships involved in the famous attack on Snake Island, where 13 Ukrainian Coast Guards, who were on defense, were ordered to surrender by the Russian Navy, but their response was, "Go to hell," before they were bombed. A video of the rockets fired from Odessa hitting the ship was released the day before. "We shot him," one of the Ukrainian soldiers shouted. Russian warship, go to hell. The 13 border guards on Snake Island were initially reported to have been killed in the February 24 attack, but it was later alleged that they may have survived, and that they may have been captured. The audio messages recorded during the attack showed the bravery of 13 men in the face of the threat from Russian warships. The captain of the ship was told, "I suggest you lower your weapons and surrender to avoid bloodshed and unnecessary casualties." But the guards answered, "Russian warship, go to hell." On Monday evening, a source from the Ukrainian Navy told the Times, "The ship has been wrecked, I can confirm that." NATO puts over 200 ships and 130 jets at high alert. NATO must ensure that conflict does not spread beyond Ukraine, says alliance chief. NATO has a responsibility to ensure that the conflict does not spread beyond Ukraine, said Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. Speaking during a joint press conference in Riga with the Latvian President Egils Levits on Tuesday, Stoltenberg remarked that the suffering we now see in Ukraine is horrific. "We have a responsibility to ensure the conflict does not escalate and spread beyond Ukraine. That would be even more dangerous, destructive, and even more deadly. The situation could spiral out of control," Stoltenberg said. In response to the situation and to make sure there is no room for miscalculation in Moscow, NATO has significantly strengthened its presence in the eastern part of the alliance, Stoltenberg added. "We have 130 jets at high alert. Over 200 ships from the high north to the Mediterranean, and thousands of additional troops in the region," the NATO chief continued. "NATO will protect and defend every inch of Allied territory," Stoltenberg said. So far, NATO has refused to get directly involved in the conflict, including setting up a no-fly zone beyond supporting Ukraine's resistance to Russia's invasion. Two American warships entered the Baltic Sea. A few hours ago, at least 2 American missile destroyers entered the Baltic Sea, which, in the face of a significant deterioration in relations between Russia and the United States, as well as direct threats, caused serious concern about such provocative actions. At the moment, it is known that we are talking about the missile destroyers USS Donald Cook and USS Forrest Sherman. Currently, it is known that U.S. Navy missile destroyers are located near the Russian coast, and although they do not show any aggression by their actions, against the backdrop of expected provocations and steps aimed at escalation, ships of the Baltic Fleet of the Navy were sent to monitor them. Russia. The purpose of the stay in the Baltic Sea of the 2 American missile destroyers USS Donald Cook and USS Forrest Sherman remains unknown. However, in total the latter carry 186 cruise missiles, which of course represents a great potential danger. It is not known in what particular area of the Baltic Sea the American warships are currently located. However, there have been no earlier public statements from the United States about sending warships to this area.